Hello lovelies, I'm here to do an April book haul. They're all from various places, so I'm just going to go in, roughly the order that I got them in. So we'll start with the first three that I got from Waterstone's Trip Part 1. So I picked up Christina Henry's Horseman. This is the author that wrote the, is it called The Red Queen, Alice, those books. Let me see if it's got the list at the front so I can give you the actual correction. So Alice, Red Queen, Looking Glass, Lost Boy, The Mermaid, all those stories, which I haven't read. I think I have a couple of those, but I've not yet got to. But this is her latest one. I really loved the cover, and honestly that is what drew me in. It just looked really gothic, but quite short as well, so I'd be intrigued to see how much it can give in such a short amount of time. And it just says on the front, everyone in Sleepy Hollow knows about the Horseman. Let's have a quick look what it looks like underneath. I think it might just be a plain, plain black with red writing on the spine. And the synopsis of this one says, everyone in Sleepy Hollow knows about the Horseman, but no one really believes in him. Not even Ben Van Brunt's grandfather, Brom Bones, who was there when it was said the Horseman chased the upstart Crane out of town. Brom says that that's just a legend. The village gossips talk him. More than 30 years after those storied events, the village is a quiet place. 14-year-old Ben loves to play Sleepy Hollow boys, reenacting the events Brom once lived through, but then Ben and the friends stumble across the headless body of a child in the woods near the village. Oh my god, this sounds graphic. And the discovery makes Ben question everything the adults in Sleepy Hollow have ever said. Could the Horseman be real after all, or does something even more sinister stalk the woods? So when I picked this up, I only read like the first section of that synopsis. I was not expecting it to go so dark. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what age range, what target audience this is for, because looking at this I would have thought it was like middle grade or YA, but it sounds quite graphic, so we will see. I also picked up Rupi Kaur's Homebody collection of poetry. I've read the other books by this poet, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, Instagram poetry, it's not really poetry. I've enjoyed them personally. I've got reviews for Milk and Honey and The Sun and Her Flowers if you would like to check that out. So yeah, this is just the next collection. It's got a really lovely textured cover. I don't know what it is about it, but it feels kind of like velvety, but not. I don't know, I like it though. And then the last one from that batch of Waterstone books is this Japanese classic, and this is I Am a Cat by Soseki Natsume, and this is a 3-in-1 bind-up. I've seen RG's Devil Ship talk about this. I can't remember if she's completely read it or if she's working her way through it. I did see one volume on its own, and I was kind of contemplating that, but I just kind of wanted to get the bind up because I like the way it looks. I am a cat, as yet I have no name. So begins one of the most original and unforgettable works in Japanese literature. Richly allegorical and delightfully readable, I Am a Cat is the chronicle of an unloved, unwanted, wandering kitten who spends all his time observing human nature, from the dramas of businessmen and school teachers to the foibles of priests and potentates. From this unique perspective, the author offers a biting commentary shaped by his training in Chinese philosophy on the social upheaval of the Meiji era. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, I'll be intrigued to see what little nuggets of wisdom that can potentially give. In an Asda trip, I picked up Yinka, Where Is Your Husband by Lizzie, Damilola, Blackburn, and I've seen some good praise about this. I think Cindy from Because Sins on Instagram has read and really enjoyed this one. It just sounded like it could be quite a relatable one. The cover is very out there and loud and beautiful. I really love like these clashing pinks and blues and oranges. They're so vibrant. One is about Yinka, who wants to find love, but her mum wants to find it for her. But how can she find a husband when she is surrounded by her many aunties who frequently and loudly pray for her delivery from singledom, has a preference for chicken and chips over traditional Nigerian food, and a bum she's sure is far too small as a result? Oh, and the fact that she's a 31-year-old South Londoner who doesn't believe in sex before marriage is a bit of an obstacle too. When her cousin gets engaged, Yinka commences Operation Find a Date for Rachel's wedding, armed with a totally flawless and incredibly specific plan. Will Yinka find herself a husband? What if the thing she really needs to find is herself? It sounds like it's going to be really heartwarming, really funny. and just relatable on many levels. W.H. Smith, I picked up Jacqueline Wilson's latest book, and this is Baby Love. Honestly, this was just an author buy. I didn't really read into what it was about. I did notice, however, that it has an absolutely divine naked cover. Like, how beautiful is that? Just absolutely blown away. The main cover for the dust jacket is really beautiful as well, but that is just stunning. So let's find out what this one is about together, shall we? When Laura meets a French exchange student, Leon, she is flattered by his interest in her. She's never had any sort of boyfriend before. One night, Leon walks Laura home and her life won't ever be the same again. Things start to change, first her moods, then her body. Laura isn't prepared for what she learns next and doesn't even know how it could have happened. When her family discover her secret, they are horrified. Sent away to save them from shame, Laura meets girls like her, whose families have given up on them, and they become a family for each other. Will Laura be allowed a say in how her life is going to turn out? Oh my gosh. An emotional tale of family trouble and unlikely friendships set in 1960, the year the Beatles got together. It will sweep you along, still your heart, and open your eyes to a time when attitudes and choices were very different. That's going to be interesting. I really love how Jacqueline Wilson tells her stories, so I'm looking forward to that one. And then in a charity shop, I picked up this collection. This bind-up was like £5, and it's Brent Weeks's The Night Angel trilogy. So it's got The Way of Shadows, Shadow's Edge, and Beyond the Shadows. These are books that have vaguely been on my radar. Honestly, I just picked them up because they were a reasonable price, but I'm hoping to enjoy these. They look really tiny, but they're like, I think it's just really tiny font, but kind of thick. So in this world, we're following Durzo Blint, who's an assassin, and he is the city's most accomplished artist. For Azoth, survival is just the beginning. He was raised on the streets and knows an opportunity when he sees one, even when the risks are as high as working for someone like Durzo Blint. Azoth must learn to navigate this assassin's world of dangerous politics and strange magics and become the perfect killer. It also gave me vibes of Trudy Canavan's book, so I'm hoping it's on like a similar wavelength, because I really enjoyed those that I've read, and I'm hoping, you know, this is kind of on the same vein. And this one I've seen so much praise for, particularly from Jess McGlynn. I think she's finished the series or is currently reading the series, and this is Malice, which is book 1 in John Gwynne's The Fateful and the Fallen series. I think it's a 4-book series, and it's adult fantasy, high fantasy. It says the banished lands have a violent past where armies of men and giants clashed in battle, and an uneasy peace reigns, but now giants stir once more. The very stones weep blood, and there are sightings of gigantic worms. Those who can still read the signs see a prophecy realised. Sorrow will darken the world as angels and demons make it to their battlefield. Young Corbin watches enviously as boys become warriors and yearns to join them, determined that he will make their family proud. It is only when everything he knows is threatened that he discovers the true cost of becoming a man. As the kings look to their borders and priests beg answers for the gods, only a chosen few know that the fate of the world will be decided between 2 champions, the Black Sun and the Bright Star, and with their coming will be a war to end all wars. That sounds awesome. The next batch of books I got whilst I was in Canterbury for the Easter weekend with my friends and my other half, and it was such a good weekend. I do have a vlog like in the works to be pending. It's a reading vlog, and I'm reading a specific book for that, so I don't know when exactly it will be up, but just so you know, Canterbury footage is in that vlog too. So the first book I got was actually in a W.H. Smith up there, and it's just like a haunted Canterbury book, telling you about all the haunted sightings and things about the city. Yeah, it's a compilation of ghostly legends and spooky tales that paint a vivid portrait of Canterbury. So there's that one, and everything else was during the Double Stamp Easter promotion in Waterstones. So I got 6 books. So these are the first 2 that kind of jumped out at me. We have HardcoreCupcakeHailstorm. We have HardcoreCupcakeHailstorm Bitter, which is their newer release. Kind of reminds me of the pet cover, like it looks in the same vein, so I wonder if it's going to be in the same world. But this one says, it was ridiculous that adults wanted young people to buy the one saving. It was ridiculous that adults wanted young people to be the ones saving the world, as if her generation was the one that had broken everything in the first place. After a childhood in foster care, Bitter is thrilled to have been chosen to attend Eucalyptus, a special school where she can focus on her painting. But outside this haven, the streets are filled with protests against the deep injustices that grip the city of Lucille. Oh my god, it's the same place. Okay, Bitter's instinct is to stay safe within the walls of Eucalyptus, but her friends aren't willing to settle for a world that's so far away from what they deserve. Pulled between old friendships, her artistic passion, and a new romance, Bitter isn't sure where she belongs. And if she does find a way to help the revolution while being true to who she is, she must also ask at what cost. So I'm really looking forward to this. Another auto by an author that I really need to try it more from, but I've been impressed so far. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this. I'm really looking forward to seeing the world that I've already kind of been in through Pet, that story, and see where we are now. And then we have Ryan Douglas's The Taking of Jake Livingston, and this was sort of a cover buy, but also a buy that I had heard a lot of high praise about, but I didn't actually know really what it was about. I've just heard some really raving reviews. So this is about 16-year-old Jake Livingston who sees dead people. Jake can't decide what's worse, being a medium forced to watch the dead play out their last living moments on a loop, or being at the mercy of racist teachers as one of the few black students at St. Clair Prep. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, both are a living nightmare. The only good thing is Jake's life is the arrival of another black student at St. Clair, the handsome Alicia. But now life as a medium is getting worse as a powerful, vengeful ghost targets Jake. High school has become a different kind of survival game, one Jake is not sure he can win. This sounds really awesome. It kind of gives me the vibes of V. Schwab's like City of Ghosts, that kind of feel. I'm hoping it's going to be like a load of fun, obviously tackling some more serious issues such as racism and social justice issues, but with like a quirky backdrop of ghosts and seeing dead people and perhaps an interesting relationship. So very excited for that, as I am with all of them. Then I saw these two ghost books, and I think Jodie from Vanilla Moon Books has read like the first one, because I recognise seeing this. I'm pretty sure it was on her feed. And this is Lizzie Medin's The Sad Ghost Club, Find Your Kindred Spirits. And this says it's not a sad story, and then there's like a little bit of it at the back. It says, though it begins with the struggle and anxious swirling thoughts, but sometimes even the worst of days can surprise you. Join the Sad Ghost Club and find your kindred spirits. You are not alone. I love the sound of that. That's so sweet. And then this is like the sequel. It says The Sad Ghost Club 2. And this one says, this is a story about what happens after you find your kindred spirits, which sounds pretty cool. As a nice little follow-up there. And then the last two books, I've got the final book in the Rosewood Chronicles by Connie Glynn, and this is Princess Ever After. Obviously I will not be reading the synopsis for this one because it's the last book out of 5 books. I've read 2 out of them so far, and I've really enjoyed them each time. You might have seen the last couple of months I've been collecting the other books in preparation for this one. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to wrapping up this series. And then lastly, the first book that I picked up actually when I went into Waterstones was Alicia Keys' Girl on Fire. I saw this kind of popping up here and there on Instagram when it first came out, which was very recently I believe, and I was super excited because I love Alicia Keys and I love this concept of Girl on Fire. It's like a superhero character, and it's co-written by Andrew Weiner and illustrated by Brittany Williams. So this says, it's amazing how your whole world can change in an instant. It happens for Lolo right when her brother James is accosted by the police for a crime he didn't commit. Lolo knows too well that how this will end if she doesn't act, but she doesn't realise how strong she actually is until she stops the assault with the powers from her mind. Now her brother is out of harm's way, but her newfound abilities have brought her to the attention of Skin. He has enough money, goons and leverage to make a threat, not just to Lolo but to her friends, family and neighbourhood. Having already brought Lolo's troubled classmate Run and his super strength into his fold, Skin is looking to make Lolo part of his crew, whether she wants to join or not. Skin's found a way to put Lolo in an impossible place by threatening the things that mean the most to her. Does she betray everything she stands for and cave under Skin's pressure, or does she stand up for herself and what's right, even if that means endangering the people she loves the most? It's an authentic, honest coming-of-age graphic novel about finding the fire within from Grammy Award-winning chart-topping musician politician and activist Alicia Keys. It sounds amazing. The underneath is just exactly the same as the dust jacket. So there we are. Those are all the books that I got during April. Quite a successful one for like new releases and some exciting things that I've been really looking forward to. Some auto-buy authors, that sort of thing. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books that I've shown here today. And for now, I shall speak to you in another video soon. Bye!